20 most popular dog breeds in the world for 2025, straight from the American Kennel Club. And look, we're not just rattling off a list here. We're going to dig into the wild history and the actual science behind our favorite pups. The AKC recognizes over 200 breeds, but this top 20 tells a totally fascinating story about our modern lifestyles, how our preferences shift over time, and the very real impact of human-directed evolution.
Before we get to the very top, though, I've got a quick question for you. Can you guess which breed has held the #1 crown for 4 years straight? Keep that guess in the back of your mind as we count down.
Okay, let's breeze through the bottom half of the top 20. We've got those steady, all-time favorites, the boxers sitting at 18, the corgi at 16, but keep your eyes on the Cane Corso. This is a massive, powerful dog, and it's been rocketing up the ranks. They were at 14 last year, and now, knocking right on the door of the top 10 at number 11.
Moving into Section 1, Working Dogs and Badger Hunters. This covers ranks 10 through 4. Here's the countdown from 10 to 6. You'll see the Rottweiler, the Beagle, and the Poodle all holding steady. But check out numbers 9 and 10. The German Short-Haired Pointer and the Bulldog actually traded places this year. The Pointer edged up to 9, bumping the Bulldog down to 10. It's kind of funny when you think about it. One is this ultra-athletic hunting machine, and the other is basically a furry little tank. Really shows you how totally different our dog preferences can be.
And that contrast, it's a perfect example of how dogs were originally bred for incredibly specific jobs. We're talking herding sheep, pulling sleds, literally digging into the earth to hunt badgers. For thousands of years, dogs were bred for what they could do, not just how cute they looked. And that rich history of function directly hardwired the biology and the temperament of the breeds we're about to see in our top 5.
So, coming in at number 5, officially booting the Poodle out of the top 5 this year, is the Dachshund.
These guys are fascinating. They literally translate to badger dogs. And despite being so incredibly small, they are fierce. They also have, hands down, one of the most random and diverse fan bases ever. I mean, they've captured the hearts of everyone from iconic artists like Pablo Picasso and Andy Warhol to Hollywood stars like Clark Gable and even infamous historical figures like Jack Ruby.
Yeah, that Jack Ruby.
The guy famously owned 10 dachshunds at once. He was actually so obsessed with one named Sheba that he called her his wife. I mean, talk about intense breed loyalty, right?
Landing at number 4 is an absolute legend in the working and herding world, the German Shepherd.
Now, their journey to this spot is a total roller coaster. Right after World War II, breed registrations completely tanked, pretty much entirely due to anti-German sentiment at the time. But you just can't keep a good dog down. Their intelligence and sheer work ethic were just too undeniable. By 1993, they clawed their way all the way back up to the 3rd most popular breed in the US. And today, they're holding super strong at number 4.
Section 2, the reigning champion revealed. We are finally at the top 3.
The bronze and silver go to the ultimate American family staples. The Golden Retriever is sitting comfortably at number 3, and the iconic Labrador Retriever takes number 2. No surprises there, these two have been dominating the top of the list for decades just by being incredibly friendly and super easy to train. But we have to pause and talk about the number 31. Because the Labrador Retriever had an absolutely unbelievable 31-year run at number 1. 31 years! They held that ultimate crown from the 1990s all the way until they were finally dethroned in 2022. It's honestly a historic streak that we will probably never see matched again in these rankings. And the dog that finally ended that streak? Our reigning champion. For the 4th consecutive year, the number 1 most popular dog breed in the world is the French Bulldog. If you guessed the Frenchie earlier, you totally nailed it. Their rise to the top over the last decade has been nothing short of explosive. Back in 2012, they were hovering way down at number 14. Flash forward to 2021, they climbed to number 2, and since 2022, they've completely owned the number 1 spot. Why? Basically, their tiny size and low exercise needs make them the ultimate apartment dog. If you live in a dense, busy city, a Frenchie is pretty much the perfect fit.
But that brings us to Section 3, the cost of cuteness. Let's look at the science of skull shapes.
Okay, we really need to unpack a serious scientific reality behind this massive popularity. We're talking about the compressed skull shape of brachycephalic dogs. Brachycephalic is just a fancy science word for short-headed. You can see how incredibly flat the faces and muzzles are on these breeds, which obviously includes our number 1 Frenchie and the Bulldog at number 10. These anatomical shifts are exactly what create those big, forward-facing eyes and squished little faces.
Basically, it gives them baby-like features that our human brains are literally hardwired to find adorable.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. According to research in the Pharma Innovation Journal, this exact skull shape frequently causes BOAS, or brachycephalic obstructive airway syndrome. It's a severe set of respiratory issues. Think about it. The skull bone is compressed, but all the soft tissue inside? It isn't. So you end up with pinched nostrils, a soft palate that's way too long and blocks the airway, and a super narrow windpipe. These poor guys literally have to fight just to take a breath, which completely wrecks their ability to cool down and regulate their body temperature.
And it's not just their breathing. Adult dogs have 42 teeth, period. But because brachycephalic dogs have such drastically shortened muzzles, they are still trying to cram all 42 of those teeth into a tiny, squished mouth. This routinely leads to massive dental overcrowding, teeth that don't erupt properly, and severe bite misalignments.
So, why are we talking about this? Because there's a massive disconnect between why we love these dogs and what they actually go through. Their huge appeal as cute, low-maintenance apartment dogs stands in stark contrast to their medical reality. On top of the breathing and the teeth, the genetic quirk that gives them those little corkscrew tails often causes spinal instability. And maybe the most startling part? The puppies' heads are so disproportionately huge compared to the mother's pelvis that they have sky-high rates of birthing complications. A lot of these dogs actually require surgical intervention, like a C-section, just to be born.
Which leads into Section 4, Shaping the Future Dog. Have we gone too far?
It forces a pretty stark realization about our role in dog evolution. The researchers in that Pharma Innovation paper make a brilliant point. They suggest that by selectively breeding for progressively shorter and wider skulls, just because we like how they look, we might have already pushed past the physiological limits of these animals. We designed an exterior look that we love, but their internal biology is completely struggling to keep up with it.
So as we wrap up these 2025 rankings, from the incredibly hardworking German Shepherd to the ultimate city companion, the Frenchie, we're left with a really provocative question. If the absolute most popular dog in the world inherently struggles just to breathe, is it time we completely rethink how we define canine perfection? Thanks so much for joining.